In my previous article, I discussed how Valve introduced changes to Steam's visibility algorithms on October 5th.
2018
It's not clear exactly what changed, but this seems to have resulted in less discovery queue traffic to smaller games. This is unfortunate, as discovery queue traffic is particularly important for these games. It provides visibility during sales. It provides an audience that is looking for new games, and it can also amplify the effect of whatever marketing efforts a developer can deliver. Valve has not explained what changed back in October, but I wanted to get a better understanding of how the discovery queue works and what games it is showing. Between December 2nd and February 28th, I viewed 672 games. For each game I was shown, I saved the start page HTML. I then spent far too many hours obsessing over the data. This is an in-depth breakdown of the statistics and an analysis of the results. I may have gotten a little carried away. There are many caveats regarding the relevance of this data. For one, this only reflects my personal Steam account. It's a reasonable assumption that what I am seeing will generalize to other accounts, but I have no way to know for certain. Also, my data only goes back to December 2nd. It offers no insight into how the current algorithm compares to how things worked before October. I also believe that Valve made further tweaks to the algorithm in early March, which is why I am restricting my sample to the end of February. But I have no way to know if the algorithm has been consistent during the time I was collecting data. Valve could have been making subtle tweaks to their algorithms through the whole time, and we would not know it. My Steam account preferences are set to allow mature content to be shown, with the exception of adult-only sexual content. I have not set any tags in Steam's tags to exclude feature. In my discovery queue preferences, early access products, software, videos, and unreleased products are all allowed. Prior to starting this experiment, I was a semi-regular user of the discovery queue feature. I had seen 1,323 products, and I marked 339 of them as not interested. The impact of marking a product as not interested is unclear. One page states that it does not change what kind of games will be recommended to you. A different page claims, we will also exclude these products from being used to recommend you other similar items. During the experiment, I did not mark any additional products as not interested. The discovery queue does not repeat itself, so each of the games I saw was being recommended for the first time. There are a lot of considerations to make in the design of a recommendation system. One of the most common and straightforward tools to apply is popularity. Basing discovery recommendations on popularity has its downsides, as people are likely already aware of popular things, and popularity-based recommendations means that hidden gems will inevitably be missed. But when a lot of people like something, it is a strong signal that it might be interesting. Another factor in creating good recommendations is quality. This can be difficult to pin down, since quality can be extremely subjective. Critic and user scores attempt to put a numeric value on quality. Review scores can gloss over a lot of subtlety, but they give a number that is easy to incorporate into an algorithm. While popularity tends to be correlated with quality, something does not have to be good to be popular, and critically, low popularity does not imply low quality. One final tool that I think is key to a good recommendation system is personal relevance. Determining what things might fit a user's particular tastes is challenging but potentially very helpful. Valve's page explaining the discovery queue provides a good overview on how to use the system, and I recommend you give the page a read if you are not familiar with the system. It notes that the discovery queue tries to strike a balance between prioritizing products known to be good and new products that you may find interesting. This stated approach of balancing quality and relevance seems like a good start. With no mention of popularity, the description also notes the importance of new products, introducing the idea of recency as an additional priority in making recommendations. Valve has said that they do not want to share too many details of how their algorithms work, because they do not want people to cheat the system. But Steam does provide a lot of information about why things are in your discovery queue. This information starts with what I call the top line, a qualifying reason. The top line reasons banner shows a general reason for why you are seeing a game, such as because it is popular, or because it has positive user reviews. These reasons seem to explain how a game qualifies to be shown to you, but does not necessarily explain why this particular game was recommended. I shared a draft of this article with Alden Kroll of Valve. He explained that these top-line reasons do not necessarily indicate a direct cause for the game appearing. He provided the following details on this system. The following table shows all of the types of top-line reasons that I saw and how many times each of these reasons occurred. 281 games that were shown to me with the top-line reason indicating it was because they were popular, representing 42% of the games I viewed. This reason is the most common one. It is not clear what criteria is being used to determine popularity. It is likely a mix of factors, but my best guess is that it is mostly based on recent revenue. As I said, popularity is a useful tool for making recommendations, but I am surprised to see it so heavily emphasized in the discovery queue, where users are looking to find new games they may not already be aware of. The second most common top-line reason for this data set is because the game has positive user reviews. The threshold for this reason appearing is 80% positive. The following chart shows a histogram of user scores for the games I saw. The games with this top-line reason are highlighted separately, and the stacked values represent the full distribution of user scores. Stacked histogram of user scores for games in my discovery queue, with this reason appearing on 38% of my discovery queue views. It seems like this represents an important visibility threshold in the system. However, Alden tells me that review score above negative has very little impact on whether a game gets recommended, and that there is no code that is explicitly selecting for games over 80%. He suggests that the discontinuity in the chart is due to various criteria for getting recommended happening to be correlated with having over 80% positive reviews. He wanted to make it clear that developers do not need to target a particular review score to get recommended. Surprisingly, the third most common qualifying reason is just to see if you might be interested. While this was only 46 games, 8%, I did not expect it to be so frequent. The logic behind this category makes sense. Valve wants to collect data about the games on the platform, and randomly recommending them gives them an opportunity to learn more, though the systems only seem to factor in a very limited amount of data. If I buy a game, that will feed into Steam's popularity metric. If I play the game, then it will factor into future recommendations. But whether I wishlist, follow, mark as not interested, or simply click next, my actions do not seem to factor into Valve's algorithms. I would think that these actions would reveal some information about the game and quite a lot about my personal preferences, but that data does not seem to be used currently, making these views much less effective than they could be. Metacritic score is another attempt to quantify quality. Again, the threshold is 80, though this represents a much higher bar to overcome than an 80% user score. For smaller games in particular, it is difficult to even get a Metacritic score, let alone to stay above 80. And again, it seems that this is a hard yes-no threshold. There does not seem to be a trend towards higher Metacritic games being recommended more than lower-scored games, with only 26 games qualifying for this reason. The system is obviously placing a much lower emphasis on Metacritic compared to user scores. Stacked histogram of Metacritic scores. The Discovery Queue provides some additional visibility to the games in the store. Of the 36 games that showed up under this reason, 10 were products taking pre-orders, 1 was not available for purchase yet, and 26 were launched. The launched games were at most 10 days old.